Toronto Marlies in Syracuse to take on the Crunch, and joining them is Pete Flagler, the equipment assistant, popular with the players, the fans, and of course management as well. Marlies faced off against the Syracuse Crunch earlier this week in the first of 3 games in a row against the Crunch. Now the Crunch also played the Binghamton Senators in between and handled them nicely. Now that puts the Marlies and the Crunch both atop the North Division, fighting for that top spot and home playoff advantage. The first game in this 3-game set for the Toronto Marlies accrued 112 penalty minutes between the two clubs. It is always a rough affair against Syracuse. It might get a little rougher tonight as it's slapshot night here at the Onondaga County War Memorial. The Chiefs jerseys will be worn by the Syracuse Crunch, and no word if they're going to dress anybody named Dunlop. Steve Alexi, the Marlies D-man, pointing out that this 3-game set has a bit of a playoff feel to it.
Yeah, I think that, obviously everything that's at stake in a team that we're battling with, I think, it's a playoff type atmosphere, and I think that's what it was the first game, and I think it's going to continue to be that way. Obviously with the physical side and knowing what's at stake, I think, the tempers were flaring a little bit, and it'll probably be the same way the rest of the way with them.
Well, these guys certainly bring a physical aspect to the game, but you can't overlook that they have some talent over on the other side as well. What's the thought process going into tonight? More of the same for you guys in the win that you picked up in the first one?
Yeah, as long as we stick to what we need to do as a team, and although they do have some physical guys, I think it was great. We had some other guys step up there, who aren't normally known for that. Obviously, a guy like Derms getting involved, and Reichs. When you look at a guy like that who puts up the points he does and still gets involved in the physical side, I think that's stuff that teams can rally around, and I think that's kind of what we did with the last game there.
Both teams have 11 magic points left before they can clinch a playoff spot. That means points accrued by them and then not accrued by other teams as well. So it means losses from Utica and St. John's and anybody below them, and then of course wins by the Marlies or the Crunch. So just 11 magic points. I'm going to talk about a guy who's produced some magic this year, Rich Clune. He is the IO American Specialty Man of the Year for the Toronto Marlies for his contribution to the community. And for Rich Clune, there's more than just giving back to the community. It's the feeling he gets as well.
Well, anytime, for me, service to others is sort of something that I've learned over the years really takes me outside of my head. Whether I'm dealing with things or I get wrapped up in hockey, anytime I can get out and do some sort of community service or volunteer, it immediately takes me outside of my own head, and kind of my problems disappear, and I try to draw from other people, and just seeing the smile on some kids' faces, it really brightens up my day. So it's very gratifying.
You get an opportunity to sit down with a kid, and can you compare it to going out on the ice and getting a victory or having a good play, and can you walk away and feel that same kind of enjoyment?
Yeah. I think anytime you can impact another person's life, whether it's very small or in a big way, you feel good, and it gives me a sense of purpose. Being a hockey player is obviously a privilege, but being able to give back to the community is in some ways a bigger deal than the wins on the ice, in my opinion.
So just 2 games for the Toronto Marlies this weekend, both against the Syracuse Crunch, and then a school day game at 11 o'clock on Tuesday against the St. John's Ice Caps.